privilege to join you all standing here in Swiss Cottage to demand the expulsion of the Israeli ambassador for her incitement of genocide. We want Tipi Hotovely to be expelled for her incitement of genocide. And the other thing that we need to be saying loud and clear, and why it's always so important to be stood here on the International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network picket, is that we as Jews stand against genocide, we stand against apartheid, and we say that what Israel are doing, the fascist settler colony, is not in our name. And we're here to say that we are Jews against genocide. Jews against apartheid. Jews against genocide. Jews against apartheid. It's been a while since I've stood here on the picket and had a chance to speak. So I always wanted to bring solidarity from my trade union, the National Education Union. And I wanted to share that recently we had an international solidarity conference where we were joined by the General Secretary from the General Union of Palestinian Teachers, who are affiliated, or we are affiliated with, from the National Education Union. And what they were telling us about the bombings of schools, the settlers' invasions of schools in the West Bank and in East Jerusalem, the destruction of every single university in Gaza, the murder of thousands, tens of thousands of children, was incredibly harrowing to hear. But the steadfastness and the resilience of the Palestinian teachers, our colleagues across those borders, and of the families, the mothers, the children, the fathers who are resisting the genocide and resisting the occupation, is what should inspire us to make sure that we show just a fraction of the steadfastness and the resilience that the Palestinian people show by making sure that we are here every Friday to demand the expulsion of the Israeli ambassador from British soil. But as we know, our government is incredibly more than complicit, is an active participant in the genocide in Gaza and across Palestine, not just in the arms sales to Israel, but also in the intelligence flights that the Royal Air Force flies across Gaza every single day, in the use of British military bases in Cyprus to load and unload weapons that are being used to massacre men, women, children and families across Gaza as we speak, not just in Gaza but also in Lebanon. Our government is more than complicit, it's an enabler of the genocide in Palestine as we speak. So we must stand up and speak up against our government and demand boycott, divestment and sanctions against the state of Israel and every single politician who stands in solidarity with the fascist settler colony. As a member of the National Education Union, as a union representative, I also want to mention that there is a workplace day of action that's been called by the Palestine Solidarity Campaign on November the 28th. We recently passed a motion in our union branch to ensure that the National Education Union is acting in solidarity on the 28th of November. We're calling members of staff in our schools to do a walkout on that day to take photos of solidarity in our classrooms, to politicise our union members. And I invite any other union members here today to make sure that the trade union struggle, the labour struggle, is an anti-racist, anti-Zionist struggle at its core. It is also important to mention, whilst we are here, that there is a very important climate conference ongoing today, or an imperialist climate conference happening in Baku in Azerbaijan as we speak. And the genocide in Gaza, even before October 7th, an integral component of it has always been ecocide. It's been the destruction of habitats, the pollution and contamination of water. It's been the destruction of olive groves. It's been the decimation of agricultural farmland. It's been the undermining of the means of subsistence and survival for the Palestinian people. So the climate justice struggle is also an anti-Zionist struggle. It is also a struggle for Palestinian liberation. And for anyone who is able to, at 12 o'clock tomorrow, I want to amplify and uplift the incredible work that's being done by the Energy Embargo for Palestine campaign, who are demanding an energy embargo on the state of Israel. and they're going to be a protest at 12 o'clock outside the British Museum, where they are going to be protesting against BP's sponsorship of the British Museum, because BP is a British fossil fuel company that is supplying the energy and the fuel that is powering the genocide in Gaza and in the bombing and the destruction of Lebanon and Beirut as well. So we must stand up against these fossil fuel titans, not just because we believe in climate justice and we want a flourishing and sustainable planet for us all to live on, but also because we stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people, and we need to remove all the energy and material power that has been given to the Israeli settler colony that is allowing them to, and enabling them to execute this genocide. So we're against the arms trade, we're against the fossil fuel industry, in the interests of climate justice and in solidarity with the Palestinian people. The final thing I want to say, one of my lecturers when I was at university, Rafeef Ziadah, was an incredible poet. And one of my favorite poems of hers is when she talks about how Palestinians teach us life. And when we're stood here on a cold November evening, it's important, again, like I said at the beginning, that it's the Palestinians who teach us life. They teach us steadfastness, they teach us resilience to occupation, to apartheid, to genocide. That is what should give us strength in our labour movement, in the climate justice movement, in the migrant solidarity movement and the migrant justice movement. We are all here today because we believe that we can live in a world of justice, of liberation, of peace, rather than the world of occupation and genocide which we currently see. So once more, again, I want to finish by saying, choose against genocide! Choose against apartheid! Choose against genocide! Choose against apartheid! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! From the sea to the river! Palestine will live forever! From the sea to the river! Palestine will live forever! Always with the oppressed, never with the oppressors. Thank you very much, comrades.
Thank you, Daniel. Some actual figures to what Daniel was saying. Since 2008, the UK has licensed arms worth over £574 million to Israel. According to government export data put together by Campaign Against Arms Trade. That includes £185 million of military technology, £136 million for aircrafts, helicopters and drones, and $30 million in grenades, bombs and missiles.
Shame! Shame!
It's a disgrace! As we have to fight, it's a disgrace, among other things, that we have to fight, as Helena said, with Starmer and Lammy and their ilk about whether a genocide is going on and who's paying for it, because the British state is making money out of that genocide.
Shame!